Okay, welcome everyone. Today's session is your go-to roadmap for setting up and registering a shipping company in Nigeria. And we are going to draw from official guidelines from NIMASA and the Nigerian Ports Authority, plus insights from ca.ng. We will break down the legal steps, licensing procedures, fees, and compliance measures crafted in a clear, easy to follow format ideal for both professionals and newcomers to the maritime industry. Let's now move over to the slides for more interactive session. Okay, let's now start the slides by taking a look at the regulatory agencies and legal basis for registering a shipping company in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the maritime sector is governed by two key agencies. The first is NIMASA, which stands for Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, which is the primary regulator and is created under the 2007 Act, and they oversee the maritime safety, ship registration, and licensing of shipping companies in Nigeria. On the other hand, NPA, which is the Nigerian Ports Authority, operates and issues shipping companies and agents with their certificates. The Merchant Shipping Act also provides legal backing, particularly for ship registration protocols. Together, these agencies ensure regulatory compliance, safety, and traceability in maritime business operations, a critical foundation for legally operating in the Nigerian maritime logistics. Okay, we'll now proceed to take a look at the prerequisites and share capital requirement for shipping company registration in Nigeria. Firstly, you have to register your company with the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, and you must also ensure that your memorandum and articles of association include shipping or maritime as its principal core business objective. It's very important. Without that, you will now have to go back to the Corporate Affairs Commission to amend your memorandum and articles of association so that it must be captured. And ICA.ng underscores that Nigerian companies must have at least 25 million in share capital, while foreign-owned shipping firms need at least 100 million share capital before they can be able to allow them to be registered. And this capital benchmarks signals financial viability and adherence to NIMASA's criteria. And with incorporation secured, you can now progress to other agency-specific licensing steps. So CAC registration is the very first step that you have to take if you are towing the line of registering a shipping company or operating under the maritime industry in Nigeria. Okay, we'll now take a look at the NIMASA registration process. What are those key steps that you have to take in order for you to successfully register your company, a shipping company, with NIMASA? To register with NIMASA, the first thing you have to do is to obtain a debit note, and the debit note is supposed to be for the sum of 210,000 naira. The 10,000 naira on top of 200,000 naira is for what is known as the Form B1, while the 200,000 naira is the actual cost of registration. Then after you have obtained the debit note, the next thing that you have to do is to generate a remitter retrieval reference, which is commonly known as RRR via remitter.net. After you have done that, you will now proceed to any bank of your choice to make a payment. After you have made payment, it's very important that you retrieve your remitter receipt, which is your evidence of registration. Once that is done, you have to now use this to collect your Form B1 from the legal department. Once you are with your Form B1, the next thing is for you to now settle down and complete it appropriately. The ones that is done, you stamp and date it before submitting alongside with your CAC status, bank reference letter, and audited financials to the Director General of NIMASA. Very importantly, you have to ensure all documentations is complete to avoid processing delays, because when you now bring all your documents and some of them are missing, well, you don't expect them to do magic. Your application will be queried pending when you now come along to do the needful by applying. Okay, we have taken a look at NIMASA's registration process. Let's now take a look also to the Nigerian Port Authority NPA registration process. That's shipping for shipping agents and companies. To register with NPA, the steps that you have to take include, firstly, to write to the general manager of your designated port. It can be the eastern or the western port. And the things that you have to include in your application, that you have to attach to your application, is your CAC registration certificate. And you can see that the CAC registration certificates seem to cut across all the MDAs that we have been mentioning, because of the fact that it is the foundation upon which every other documentation rests. Then after that, you have to also include your memorandum and articles of association, and we have mentioned earlier that it has to include shipping and maritime operations as one of its key business objectives. Then your bank reference letter has to be attached as well. Then your tax clearance certificate for the past 3 years has to be attached, and the registration fee is 200,000 naira. So once issued, your certificate is valid for 1 year, and if you intend to renew after its expiration, the cost is 100,000 naira. And processing typically takes around 6 weeks, so you have to ensure timely submission, and also for renewals you have to maintain an uninterrupted port access. So you have to make sure that you submit your application on time, and you have to also make sure that you renew on time to maintain an uninterrupted port access, because if you don't renew, you will not be allowed access into any of the Nigerian ports. Okay, let's now take a look at some other additional mandatory registrations. Very important. So alongside NIMASA and NPA registration, which we have mentioned earlier, Shipping companies must also register with SCUML under EFCC. That's is basically to comply with anti-money laundering requirements and combating the financing of terrorism. This simply means that you are registering the shipping company for business and business alone, and not for any other nefarious activity which might be for money laundering or financing terrorism in Nigeria. So you also need to register with FRS for taxation and obtain your tax identification number. Once you are registered with FRS, automatically your tax identification number will be issued. As a matter of fact, right now CAC has incorporated the tax identification number on the certificate of incorporation. So all you just need to do is to go to the FRS, revalidate it so that MDAs can be able to identify and see it when they log into the FRS portal. And also, if you own a vessel, that's if you actually own a ship, then you have to register under the Nigerian Ship Registration Office at NIMASA, Nigerian Ship Registration Office at NIMASA, and which includes the name reservation, share, capital criteria, and classification. So together with these documents, they help ensure that your company's legal, financial, and operational credibility, that you have the capacity and the ability in order to operate within the maritime industry. Okay, we'll now take a look at renewal and compliance requirements. For renewal, NIMASA issues 15,000 naira debit note per year. So once your registration with NIMASA expires, it's very important that you generate a debit note of 15,000 naira. That's if you have a delay. You must submit your current tax clearance certificate, audited account, and CAC annual returns evidence. That's to show that your business, your company is still a going concern, that you are not inactive on the CAC portal, that you have to be active and update your annual returns. Then for the Nigerian Port Authority renewal, the cost is 100,000 naira annually. I've mentioned that earlier, so you have to stay compliant in regards to that. Then advanced renewal is recommended to avoid penalties or disruption to operations. So you have to start early. So staying current with your license avoids legal complications and maintains smooth maritime operations. Start early and you finish strong. And if you start late, there's also that possibility that you'll be penalized. Okay, let's now take a look at overview workflow. Here is your operational road map. That's if you want to operate in the Nigerian maritime subsector. First and foremost, the first thing that you have to do is to start with CAC incorporation, and your memorandum and article of association must include shipping objectives. Then the next will be to apply for NIMASA shipping license, followed by MPA shipping company certification. And simultaneously, you also have to register with SCUML for anti-money laundering compliance to show that you are in for business and not for money laundering. And then after that, you have to register with FRS for tax credentials. If you have a vessel, that's if you have a ship, you have to also complete the ship registration under NIMASA. Finally, you have to keep all your licenses, that includes the NIMASA, the MPA, SCUML, current with timely renewals, and the required documentations to maintain uninterrupted operations. It's very important so that your business will continue to flow without any interruption with regards to you having access to Nigerian ports. Okay, we'll now take a look at the benefits of compliance. Why it's necessary for you to stay compliant as a shipping company or as an intending business owner who wants to, go into the maritime sector in Nigeria. Compliance provides a legal authority to operate in Nigerian ports. Without it, you cannot even step your foot into any of the Nigerian ports, inland waterways, or maritime zone. So if you have intention in operating in any of these listed places, it's very important that you do the needful and stay compliant. And also it opens doors to contracts in oil and gas, logistics, and international shipping. So it gives your business more cash flow. It brings more business to you. So staying compliant, registering with all those MDAs that I have mentioned gives you that edge over someone who is not registered. And then fully licensed entities enjoy enhanced credibility with stakeholders, investors, and clients. Any investor, any client will typically want to align their operation with someone who is registered, who is compliant, as against someone who does not even know what the industry is expected of you with regards to regulatory compliance. It shows seriousness on your part. So if you want to be taken seriously by investors and stakeholders as well as clients, make sure that you register with all the NIMASA, Nigerian Port Authority, and the other licenses that I have mentioned earlier. And more importantly, compliance reduces risk as vessel detention, prosecution, or operational shutdown, ensuring your shipping business runs legally and reputably. So compliance is not just a regulation, it is a strategic business insurance. If you want your business to grow in the maritime industry, make sure that your NIMASA and your Nigerian Port Authority registration is up to date. If you have not started the process, you have to make sure that you register with them so that your business can get that credibility that it needs in order for it to continue growing. Okay, we'll now take a look at some common pitfalls and best practices that you have to adopt in order for you to have an easy ride in your registration process and also in carrying on your business. And the common mistakes including complete documentation is very important. You take a look at all the necessary documentation, form a checklist, tick each and every one of them, make sure that you have the complete document as required by the relevant agency. Then unpaid fees and undercapitalization is another issue. You have to make sure that your share capital is up to what is expected. Then ensure your company meets the minimum share capital from inception, and do not rely on post registration top-up. It will delay your application, because with the time you should have used in order for you to make a headway in your application, then you'll now be using that time to go to CAC in order for you to update your share capital or any other, especially your memorandum and articles of association. So all those time that you waste, you should have to make sure that everything is done from inception before you even start the application process. And also very important, you have to set alarms for renewal deadlines to avoid lapses, because you have a lot in your mind as a business person. So you have to set alarms so that once it's time for you to renew, you do the needful as at when due. And also you have to maintain up-to-date audited account and tax clearance certificates, very important. And also accurate and organized compliance documentation makes licensing and renewals frictionless and positions you as a reliable professional player in the maritime industry, which will now lead you to achieving operational efficiency and sustained credibility. These two keywords, efficiency and credibility, you cannot, as a businessman, do without it. It's very important. Once both of them are aligned, you'll see that your business will continue to grow from strength to strength. Okay, and in summary, to successfully operate in the maritime industry, the first thing that you have to do is to incorporate your company with the Corporate Affairs Commission. After you have done that, then you apply for your NIMASA shipping license. Then the next step will now be to obtain an MPA shipping company certification. NIMASA, MPA. Then after that, you register with SCUML, that's EFCC, to show that you are in for business, not for money laundering, and then FIRS for tax clearance. Then thereafter, if you own a vessel or a ship, then you have to also register with NIMASA. And very important, you have to abide by required fees, share capital threshold, and renew in timely fashion. Compliance not only keeps you legal but also boosts credibility, enables access to lucrative contracts, and protects your operations. So solid regulatory footing is your launch pad for sustainable growth in the Nigerian maritime sector. Thank you for following this comprehensive guide. If you have questions like how to schedule your inspection, tips for audited accounts, or vessel specific queries, please drop your comment, drop them in the comment section. You can also reach out privately via WhatsApp using the IC official line as shown on our website. I also respond personally within 24 hours. And remember to subscribe. Our channel offers more expert guides on regulatory compliance and business success in Nigeria. And for personalized consultations, further guidance, and additional resources on shipping company registration in Nigeria, you can visit our website to access detailed guides, case studies, and expert insights designed to keep you informed of the latest regulatory updates and best practices. And we also invite you to partner with us to leverage our deep industry knowledge and take the next step towards successfully registering your shipping company in Nigeria. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to download this presentation for your reference. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable content such as this one. Thank you.